Alabama Supreme Court just ruled that frozen embryos are children. And by that, we mean a medically fertilized egg sitting in a test tube on ice now has the legal rights of a child. And anyone in Alabama who destroys one of these embryos can be held liable for wrongful death. The ruling is the first of its kind in the US, and it's creating headlines all over the world. So what could it mean for fertility treatments in Alabama and reproductive laws across the country? The ruling stems from an incident back in 2020, when 3 couples filed wrongful death suits against an Alabama health clinic after a patient accidentally destroyed their embryos at that clinic. Those lawsuits were initially dismissed by a lower court, the judge arguing that a frozen embryo is not a minor child under Alabama law, so wrongful death didn't apply. But then it went to Alabama's Supreme Court, and they disagreed.
The Alabama Supreme Court has ruled that frozen embryos are children
and entitled to all legal protections, just as a fetus in the womb.
The Chief Justice argued that fetuses killed while a woman is pregnant are covered under Alabama's Wrongful Death of a Minor Act, and that extrauterine children, or embryos outside the womb, shouldn't be exempt. Unborn children are children, without exception, based on developmental stage, physical location, or any other ancillary characteristics.
Speaking to fertility clinics in Alabama, they are concerned that this law could impede fertility care in Alabama. They're worried that if there is some sort of error that happens during the IVF embryo process, that they could also be criminally or civilly penalized. So it opens up a lot of questions that are still unanswered.
And with a recent survey showing 42% of Americans have either used fertility treatments or know someone who has, the ripple effect could be substantial. The process of creating embryos outside the womb is really common. According to the CDC, in 2021, almost 100,000 babies were born using the help of reproductive technology, like in vitro fertilization, or IVF, in the US.
This decision leaves Alabamians struggling with infertility scared.
I've been waiting over 2 years to be pregnant, so there is no world where I could see me stopping this process right now.
IVF is a multi-step process. First, patients give themselves hormone injections to stimulate egg production. Then, doctors remove as many eggs as possible from the ovaries and combine them with sperm in a petri dish. Within a few hours, those eggs are fertilized, and an embryo is created. And it's at this point that the Alabama ruling says life has begun.
The court ruled last week that any human life from the moment of conception was sacred.
Almost always, multiple embryos are created for the best odds. These embryos can be put in the uterus immediately for an attempt at pregnancy or frozen for a future attempt. Excess embryos or embryos with genetic defects are usually discarded or donated for scientific research.
Gabrielle is just days away from her egg retrieval and is worried what she will do with her non-viable embryos.
Do I have to keep those on frozen forever? Do I get to let the ones that are genetically abnormal pass naturally? Is my doctor going to be in any sort of danger by doing this procedure to me? There's so many questions in the air right now.
Now, say IVF clinics in Alabama decide to create fewer embryos to avoid discarding as many. Their patients would then likely have to go through many more rounds of hormone shots and egg retrievals, which is both physically and emotionally demanding.
A lot of women have described it as one of the most traumatic experiences of their life. They're dealing with so many different factors, one of them not being able to potentially have a child. The cost of IVF in America is very expensive. A lot of medications aren't covered under insurance.
One IVF cycle costs around $15,000 to $20,000 on average in the US. So most couples aren't able to afford multiple rounds.
We're concerned that with the new ruling, we may have to limit fertilization of eggs, which will limit success of treatment, limit efficiency.
Not to mention the potential of added liability costs for clinics in Alabama.
Any time that embryos are stored in these clinics, in these hospitals, they are going to have an entirely potentially new and very vast potential for legal exposure if anything were to happen to these embryos.
It's important to note this was a civil case, so there's no immediate criminal implication. The state's homicide law currently only applies to an unborn child in utero. And under Alabama's wrongful death of a minor law, only 3 people can sue if a child, or now an embryo, is killed: the father, the mother, or the child's representative, the executor of their state.
The case says that clinics, physicians, hospitals can be sued by the parents or the legal representatives of these embryos for their wrongful death.
So the ruling doesn't make IVF illegal in Alabama, but it does raise a whole bunch of questions about what fertility clinics can and can't do. For example, if an embryo in a petri dish is considered a person, can you freeze them? Can you do genetic testing on them? The Alabama State Medical Association warns that the increased risk of legal exposure might result in Alabama's fertility clinics shutting down, and that fertility specialists might just pack up and leave to practice somewhere else.
There are also frozen embryos right now in Alabama. People who are in the midst of their IVF cycle, maybe they've done IVF and they are hoping to use those embryos for a future attempt at pregnancy. I don't really know today what the status of those embryos are and what they can do with them.
This ruling, as we said, is the first of its kind in the US. So beyond its impact in Alabama, it's also putting one of the most contentious national debates back in the spotlight.
I do think that if you look in the definition, an embryo is considered an unborn baby.
The belief that life begins at conception is paramount to Alabama's abortion law, which came into effect immediately after Roe v. Wade was overturned in 2022.
A federal judge lifted a nearly 3-year-old injunction halting Alabama's enforcement of a ban on abortions here.
Alabama Governor Kay Ivey signed one of the strongest bans on abortion in the country in 2019. She says she's thrilled to begin the next critical steps to help enforce the ban.
In this frozen embryo ruling, the Alabama judge references Roe v. Wade, saying the federal Supreme Court returned the issue of when life begins to the states, giving them the authority to decide. The people of Alabama have declared the public policy of this state to be that unborn human life is sacred. We believe that each human being, from the moment of conception, is made in the image of God, created by Him to reflect His likeness.
Roe versus Wade being overturned essentially allowed Alabama to make the decision to ban abortions and also open the door to allowing Alabama to decide that embryos are now considered children.
According to one reproductive rights group, there are at least 11 states that broadly define personhood as beginning at fertilization. But no other state's top court has yet ruled that frozen embryos are people, making this a potentially precedent-setting decision.
I think that now that Alabama has come out and issued this opinion saying the embryos are considered children, you're going to see other states emulate Alabama's ruling and come to the same conclusion.
Already in Florida, a religious nonprofit says it's using this as precedent in an abortion rights case, saying in a statement, Liberty Counsel is using Alabama's ruling to argue that Florida's constitution, like Alabama's, affirms that an unborn child qualifies as human life, a human being, and a person.
It's concerning for fertility experts and healthcare providers. So they're curious, and some even have said fearful that the abortion laws could extend to IVF laws and impact their states as well, especially in states with Republican legislatures.
Legal experts say this ruling is unlikely to be appealed to a higher court. So at this point, for those in Alabama, what happens next is up to lawmakers.